Hi, I'm Chris. I like to paint things, and today we're going to do something a little bit shorter, a little bit different. Today I've got these boys, some Genestealer Cultists. Now, they're already painted, so what the heck is this video about? Well, today I'm going to cover something I don't often like to do, and I'm going to make myself do it and do it well. That's right, we're going to make a base. We're going to talk about basing. We are all about that base today. Basing is the final touch on any miniature, and I hate doing it. That's why all of my AdMech have very basic desert Mars bases. I mean, it suits them. My Necrons, I actively took some time to make really nice basing so that their simple paint scheme could look a little more interesting on the tabletop. They've got a lot of greens and a lot of dry brushing. I built the bases separate from the actual miniature.
It's an honor to serve the Imperium, sir.
If you watched my video on a team for Space Station Zero, I built all of these bases out of scrap and garbage and bits. Today we're going to try and copy that industrial basic style, but I want to make it even better. So we're going to go from these terrible, boring bases to these beautiful, scrap-made industrial bases. And I'm going to show you how I did it. So these models, I bought them secondhand, so I had zero control of how attached they were to their bases. Turns out, very. I'm not the most delicate modeler in the world, so I kind of brute forced all of them off their bases, but honestly, whatever works. With all of my cultists separated from their bases, I was able to go gather supplies. So I roamed around my local dollar store just looking for cheap stuff with interesting texture, and boy, no one takes care of this dollar store. But that's okay, maybe we'll find something cool. Lots of craft supplies, but nothing really jumped out at me. This fly swatter had some, corrugated texture, maybe that would work, but honestly, after looking and looking and looking, it was all supplies and nothing I thought I could use. It was just a whole lot of nothing. So I braved the actual craft store, and I came out a lot better. So I grabbed the YouTubers recommended craft supplies. We got some granny grating, I got some chipboard, I got some other stuff just for me. We're gonna take this home and see how we can do. To get started, I grabbed these thin cardboard sheets that I got in some sort of shipping package, and then I grabbed the granny grating I bought from the craft store. Now the granny grating is best recommended by Wylux Armory, YouTube crafting legend. I decided to cut that grating into about base-sized squares. The reason for this is that I could kind of get a standardized pattern that in my head, these guys would be walking around. Whatever room they're in has a grid of this mesh with chevrons in between. Now, you don't want them to be standing perfectly on that grid because that would look very strange, like they're standing in formation or something with the floor. So then I cut strips of that about 1 grid space wide. Now, the reason for this is we're gonna have our chevrons in between those metal grates, breaking them up. I just kind of put them in random patterns that looked like if you were to look at a larger picture, they would be a full proper grid. I then cut small sections of that grating on all of the empty spaces where those strips were going to be. It was a process, but it had to be done. So after they were built, I went over every base in a thin layer of watered down PVA glue just to seal it all in. Left that overnight, and in the morning, I came in with some texture paste, some Martian iron crust, because it's what I had laying around, and just kind of bulked out some places, filled in some cracks, made it look dirty and nasty. Again, let that dry overnight. And they look like a mess, but I'm starting to like where these are going. After everything dried, I gave the bases a spray prime with black. This is the magic step in kit bashing, where it starts to kind of look like what you want it to, and it's not a jumbled mess. Now we gotta start painting. So I'm gonna use a lot of different metallics. We're gonna use some dark gunmetal from Vallejo. We're gonna use some brighter plate mail metal from the Army Painter. I even have some Green Stuff World paints I just purchased that are really nice. This Gladius Bronze is one of my new favorites. We're also gonna use this Gorgothor Brown that I got for a stupidly low price on all of our dirt. I dry brushed all of the bases silver off camera and clearly forgot to record it, but that's okay. So then I came in and just started basing in some metals. We're gonna do all of these copper pipes, and we're just gonna kind of break up that sameness of that dry brush. And then we're gonna go and do a bunch of thin coats of yellow over these stripes where the chevrons are gonna be. This can be messy, and I don't do this often. I have almost never done hazard stripes and chevrons, but I figure on dirty bases it's gonna be perfect. Now, again, I don't know where this footage went, and you can believe me or not, but I got some really, really crappy looking stripes painted once. This is our second layer over them. Don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I deleted it. Maybe I didn't want you to see how bad I am at doing it, but that's okay. Then I came in with some watered down orange paint and just started adding a bunch of rust over all of those metal grates. I like doing rust effects. I have a full video on it, and if I remember, I'll put a little link to it in the top. And then I decided to break all of that up by having these plastic card panels painted just flat white. And then everything got a dry brush of an off-white to kind of tie it all together and fill in that dirt. Man, I clearly forgot to record some of these painting steps, but you can kind of see what I'm doing. It's nothing special. So then I gave the chevrons a full wash of sepia because I thought they should have a layer of muck because they were supposed to be clean before that. And then I splotched some sepia onto the dirt as well. This is gonna get mixed in with the full wash, but that's our grime layer. Then we're gonna do an all-over layer with a dark brown wash. I believe it's Army Painter Strong Tone. The sepia wash is just there to make that yellow not look terrible. With everything painted, these are starting to look really good, and I'm very pleased with them. They're all different, but they all clearly come from the same set. Now they just need a few final details to really, really finish them and get them to my standard. So I'm gonna do 2 dry brushes, one of an off-white and one of a plate mail silver. The off-white I was kind of worried about, so I did a real light pass on the rims of the bases to get an idea of what I was gonna leave behind. And it's almost hard to see in this video, but it just added some depth to the dirt, and it kind of tied a lot of those panels and did some fake edge highlighting for me. Kind of, again, dry brushing just seems to tie everything together, especially if you do it over a wash. Then I dry brushed silver on just the metallic pieces because I think a rust looks best if it has that little edge of silver. Again, see the video if I remember to put a link to it. Now at this stage, one might honestly call these done, and I am very happy with how these came out. I think they're exciting, they're super interesting bases. The only thing left is to do the scientific process of matching models to what base they're gonna look best on. I honestly get a little decision paralysis, so let's get one last nice look at these bases on their own. Now, don't copy my steps exactly, I'm no expert, but I am honestly pretty pleased with these. They're not too bad, right? After I kind of figured out who I wanted to go where, I then cut off all that gorgeous paint I just put on. I made 2 little marks where each foot is gonna go so that I could super glue them directly to some plastic and not to paint, because if you put them to paint, then they're gonna fall off easily. And of course I mess up at the most key part of this build and scraped off paint where I didn't want to. Such is life. Then we take our angry little cultist, we pop him down onto some super glue, and we hold him there for a hot second and make sure he does not fall over. And with all of my cultists glued down, I was left with this. Well, if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for actually making it to the end. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, if you think they're good, they're bad, if you want to use this idea for yourself. I ordered some more Genestealer Cultists so I could make some more of these bases because I thought they were fun. They came out a lot better than I was expecting. I haven't done a lot of scratch building in a long time. I plan on making some more short form videos like this. Hopefully I kept it under like 15 minutes because a couple of mine are stupid long and not fun. But this one was actually really enjoyable to edit. Less so to talk about because I'm not feeling talking today. At this point I'm rambling. Again, like, comment, subscribe, all of that dumb YouTube nonsense that they want me to tell you to do. You don't have to do any of that. I don't care. Either way, have a great day. Or don't. Again, I'm not your dad or boss. Have a good one.